Hey guys, tonight we slip into something a little strange. A place that glows but doesn't warm you, that talks but never listens back. You're about to enter the Metaverse, that shimmering somewhere between nowhere and now. It's late. Your room is quiet. The screen pulses with invitation. And honestly, you probably won't survive in here. But don't worry, no one else does either. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, drop your time zone and where you're listening from in the comments. I love seeing where our sleepy little community is tuning in from. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You blink once, and the login screen is already gone. Now you're standing, floating, possibly, in a world that hums with neon softness. A low mist rolls beneath you, glowing with false stars. Above, the sky is matte black, patched with glitching moonlight. It feels like a dream the internet had in its sleep. A bit too vivid to be safe. Your avatar is ready, of course. You chose the cape. You always choose the cape. The world is labeled something like Elysium-verse, because every digital frontier thinks it's the first one to invent paradise. You take your first steps, pixel feet barely disturbing the luminous grass. And as you move past towering data palaces and quiet glades full of NPCs meditating in low-res robes, you start hearing something familiar. It isn't a voice, not really, more like a rhythm. Like the echo of an old sermon distorted through Wi-Fi static. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And then, server lag detected. You laugh, just a breath, but still, the words cling to you. You keep walking. Somewhere near a floating food court where nothing smells like food, you pass a billboard advertising a motivational experience. The Power of Now 2.0, Enlightenment with Premium Skins. A digital monk offers enlightenment for $9.99 per month. Not bad, right?
Except, what was it he said? Jesus, that is. You cannot serve both God and money. You wonder if that counts for in-game currency, too. You enter a desert next, for some reason. Someone built a simulation of the Judean wilderness for a limited-time Lenten challenge event. Fast with Jesus, the description said. But now it's empty. Just a few sand dunes and a glitching cactus. Still, something about it tugs at you. You remember, 40 days, no food, just heat and temptation. The original wilderness trial. And here you are, in a virtual one, sipping energy drink in real life while your avatar walks through a desert that costs nothing to survive. But survival isn't really the point here, is it? A system message chimes. Spiritual alignment, +3. Nice. You snort. Because even in the metaverse, someone decided to gamify grace. And yet, you pause. Because the desert starts to feel less virtual and more, what's the word? Familiar. You feel something watching. Not creepy, just patient. That's when you spot him. Or maybe it's just a figure. He's sitting on a rock that wasn't there a second ago. Simple robe, bare feet, looking up at the sky with the same tired fondness you feel when your screen freezes mid-scroll, and just for a second, you're forced to look at your own reflection in the dark glass. You don't speak. He doesn't either. But something passes between you anyway. You remember reading that early Christian art never showed Jesus smiling, always solemn, always distant. But here, now, he looks amused, like he just watched someone try to download love. A butterfly flutters past your screen, except it's not a butterfly. It's a digital dove, some AI aesthetic filter gone spiritual. Still, you follow it because why not? It leads you to a small lake that reflects not your avatar, but your actual face, staring back, puzzled, tired, maybe a little lonely. Who do you say that I am? The voice doesn't boom. It whispers. It glitches. But it's unmistakable. You flinch. The lake doesn't ripple. Your reflection raises one eyebrow. And you think, okay, now we're just being weird on purpose. Still, the question lingers. Because of course, this is the metaverse. And here you can be anyone. But so can everyone else. And the line between pretend and purpose gets awfully thin. You sit down, your avatar, that is. You're perched at the edge of this artificial lake, and for once, no ad banners hover nearby. Just quiet code and something that feels almost sacred. You recall a line from a dusty theology book you skimmed once. Christ is not bound by space or time. You'd rolled your eyes back then, but now, in this laggy digital Eden, it hits different. What if he's always been able to show up where we least expect? Not just in churches or clouds, but in code. Historians still debate whether Jesus existed exactly as the Gospels describe. Some argue he was mostly myth, others a revolutionary silenced by empire. But you can't help thinking, what if the real question isn't, was he real? But is he still logging in? Your avatar sighs, or maybe that's you. A bug in the program makes the stars shimmer, and for a second they form the shape of a fish. Not just any fish, the kind the early Christians scratched into walls to mark safe places. You smile. A guidepost. Maybe. Or just lag. The dove leads you to a mirror. Not a regular one. This is the kind of metaverse mirror that reflects your avatar, but lets you toggle through alternate versions. One swipe to the left, and you've got sharper cheekbones. Another swipe, and now you're 6 inches taller, wearing robes that sparkle like stars, coated by angels on caffeine.
You hesitate, then swipe again. Now you're glowing. People bow as you pass. You don't know who coded this version of you, but they definitely believed in special effects. You laugh, quietly. But then you stop, because the mirror glitches. And now, for a second, it shows your real face. No filters, no enhancements, just you. Tired eyes, a little uncertainty, a little too much honesty. And that's when it hits you. This whole place is built on mirrors, but no one really looks. You stare and remember something strange. Jesus never left behind a physical description. There's no biography saying his jawline was divine, or his beard shimmered in the moonlight. For someone who changed the world, he left shockingly little about how he looked. Which is weird, right? Because here, in this virtual world, how you look is everything. You turn away from the mirror. The dove flutters beside you like it's saying, "Yeah, that got weird fast." You keep walking. Soon you arrive at a customization hub, an enormous glowing hall where users fine-tune their identities like DJs spinning tracks. A woman next to you adds celestial tattoos and changes her voice to sound like thunder wrapped in honey. A guy across the room uploads a personality mod labeled Woke Prophet V2.7. And then there's a kid, maybe 12 years old, carefully adjusting his avatar to look just a little older. Just enough to be taken seriously. He wears a crown. Not a flashy one. Just simple gold floating above his head like he earned it. You wonder how long it took you to start pretending. A terminal near you flickers with a strange phrase. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You pause. You didn't code that. It's just there. Like the system forgot to filter out the theology. You think back to something a scholar once argued, that Jesus' teachings about the soul were never about escaping the body, but honoring it. That he didn't come to make us angels. He came to make us whole. You glance back at the mirror. The original face is gone now, replaced by the upgraded version you had before. But it feels less convincing. You walk again, finding your way through a digital garden of identities. Statues here shift shape every few seconds. One moment, it's a knight, then a monk, then a K-pop star with wings, all of them flickering, none of them still. A soft voice asks, "Who do you wish you were?" You don't answer, not out loud, because you've spent years shaping that answer, and none of it feels like you anymore. The voice returns, now gentler. "Who do you think I say you are?" You blink, look around. No one's there. Just more avatars, more filters, more noise. But inside you, something small begins to stir, like a memory trying to reboot. You recall a detail from ancient Christian baptism rituals. Early converts would strip naked before stepping into the water. It wasn't about shame, it was about honesty, about shedding every label, every mask. They emerged soaked, but true. Can you do that here? You try something risky. You remove your enhancements, drop the glow, shrink back to your natural height. Even your clothes, just a plain tunic now. You look normal, slightly underwhelming, but honest. A few passers-by glance and move on. No reverence, no fanfare. And oddly, that feels right. A scholar once suggested that maybe the most radical thing Jesus did was refuse to be impressive. He could have dazzled, could have levitated into temples, or turned every Pharisee into a frog. But instead, he washed feet, told boring stories, died without even writing a book. You think about that as your simplified avatar walks into the crowd. Smaller, maybe, but somehow freer. You whisper to the dove, "Is this what he meant?" It doesn't answer. It's busy circling a glitch in the sky. You squint. For a second, the clouds form letters. You are enough. Then it fades. Somewhere behind you, the mirror shatters. Not loudly, just crumbles into binary snow. You wander through a glowing city now, if you can even call it a city. More like a digital maze of floating platforms, chat zones, and voice-activated shrines. Everyone's connected, technically. Everyone's visible, technically. But no one's with you. And isn't that the strangest part? You're surrounded by avatars dancing, preaching, posing, debating about consciousness on forums built into the sky. But deep down, it feels like you've been ghosted by humanity. You sit on a virtual bench beside a virtual fountain that loops the same 3 water drop sounds every 7 seconds. Around you, avatars pose for selfies they'll never physically feel. You say hi to someone passing by. No response. You say it again. Still nothing. Just a bot blurting out a joke about digital chakras. You look up. A huge digital banner unfurls above your head. We are one. You squint. Underneath that, in smaller, flickering text, offer ends tonight. And somewhere, in the pit of your digital stomach, you feel that odd ache again. Because you're connected to thousands, but no one knows you're sad. This isn't new, of course. Loneliness has always been a parasite that rides progress. The Romans had it. The Victorians had it. But now, it's got Wi-Fi. You start walking again. The city pulses like a memory half forgotten. Towering forums echo with spiritual debate, live-streamed meditations, digital prayer rooms full of auto-playing chants. But none of it feels like a dinner table. And that's when you remember him, Jesus, sitting at tables. So many tables. With fishermen who swore too much, with tax collectors everyone hated, with women who weren't supposed to be there, and outcasts who never got invites.
He ate with them, didn't preach first, didn't require a moral resume. He just ate. Historians still argue about it, whether he meant to break the law or simply offer a new kind of welcome. Some say he was protesting the social system. Others say he was performing a sacred act. But nobody debates this. Jesus showed up, sat down, and stayed. You pause in the middle of the digital square. An ad floats by. Socialize smarter. AI friendships that learn you. You roll your eyes. But then you notice something. Tucked behind the loud signs, there's a tiny space, unadvertised. Just a small circle of avatars sitting around a table. No upgrades, no glowing eyes, just plain clothes and shared silence. You approach cautiously. One of them glances up and gestures for you to join. No words, just space. So you sit. For the first time tonight, no one is trying to impress you, or convert you, or sell you something wrapped in scripture. They pass you a digital cup. You hold it, because why not? And suddenly, your hands feel heavier, like the cup has history. Like the code remembered the Last Supper. It's strange, it's intimate, and honestly, a little awkward. But you stay, because it feels more real than anything else so far. The avatars speak, softly, about real life, regret, their actual towns and actual days. One just lost someone. Another can't sleep unless the ceiling fan is running. You listen. You speak. You share a joke.
No one rates your charisma. And you realize you weren't starving for content. You were starving for company. A theologian once wrote that the real miracle wasn't Jesus feeding 5,000 with 5 loaves, but getting 5,000 to sit down together. You used to think that was poetic nonsense. Now, you're not so sure. The table glitches for a second, flickers. You panic. You don't want to lose this. But it stabilizes, and the dove lands beside the table like it belongs there. You raise your cup in a silent toast. No reason, just because you can. And the others raise theirs too, because sometimes belonging doesn't need a password. Just presence.
You wake up. Well, your avatar does. Or maybe you do. In this world, it's getting harder to tell the difference. You're lying on the grass of what looks like a virtual Eden. Birds chirp in surround sound. A brook sings over polished stones. The sun here never burns, and the fruit is always just perfectly ripe. It's beautiful, suspiciously so, and there's no one else around. A message flashes softly at the corner of your view. Welcome to Free Will Grove. No moderators, no rules, total liberation. You sit up. The ground responds, blooming a chair beneath you, like it's trying to impress. This place feels off. No system notifications, no karma points, no moral sliders, just total, uninterrupted freedom. At first, it's bliss. You stretch, wander, speak out loud, and the world responds with poetry or silence. Your choice. There's no one to challenge your words, no one to correct your theology, no ads reminding you you're not enough. But the more time passes, the more the silence grows teeth. You try to build something, a treehouse, a monument, a poem written across the clouds. You succeed instantly. The world bends to your whim. And it's awful, because nothing here resists you. Nothing pushes back. No friction. No relationship. Just the terrifying smoothness of unchecked power. It dawns on you, you've become the god of your own simulation. And it's boring. You remember something Jesus said back when you were still in the city, hovering near that mirror. The greatest among you must be your servant. That never made much sense to you before. Sounded like one of those spiritual riddles that church folks pretend to understand while secretly hoping for footnotes. But now, it clicks. Because in a world with no one to serve, you're not just alone. You're irrelevant. You call out, "Is anyone else here?" Nothing. Except the wind. And then, no, wait, that's not wind. It's code. Whispering. Faint lines of ethical subroutines humming under the grass. You kneel down, press your hand to the soil, and there it is, a buried line of ancient programming. Love your neighbor as yourself. It glows, faint, like a ghost trying to remember it once had a body. You dig a little deeper, and more appears. Do unto others. Forgive 70 times 7. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, it's like you've unearthed a hidden layer beneath the paradise. You realize someone built this place, and then someone tried to erase the original code. But it's still here, humming like a heartbeat beneath the perfection. There's a flash behind you. A new figure appears. It's not Jesus. It's you, but not your current avatar. It's a version of you from before the upgrades, before the false freedom. It just stands there, watching. You ask, "What do you want?" It answers, "To remember." You sit together for a while. Theologians have debated for years whether Jesus was simply a moral teacher or a divine lawmaker. Some think he rewrote ethics. Others say he fulfilled ancient laws rather than replace them. But here, surrounded by the digital echoes of paradise and ego, it becomes clear he didn't offer rules to restrict you. He offered limits so you'd still be human. Without them, you're not free. You're just untethered. You rise, brush pixelated dirt from your tunic, and leave Free Will Grove behind. As you cross the boundary, a system prompt appears. Are you sure you want to exit this unrestricted zone? You smile. Yes. The world loads differently now. Colors dull slightly. People reappear. Conversations overlap again. And somehow, that's more comforting than eternal sunshine. You pass a bulletin board. Yes, they still exist here. And someone's posted a digital parchment, scribbled in shaky Comic Sans. It reads, "The kingdom of God is like a group chat that doesn't mute you." You chuckle. That's not in the Gospels, but it might as well be. It starts to fall apart. Quietly at first. A soft stutter in the trees. A pause in the clouds. The grass forgets how to bend when you step on it. The metaverse is glitching. You're used to updates, resets, occasional crashes, but this feels different. It's not a bug. It's a collapse. A flashing system message spirals across your screen. Warning, primary reality integration failing. Please log out to avoid memory overlap. You don't. Instead, you look around at the people gathering again. Some panicked, some frozen, some still pretending everything's fine. The world unravels like a dream, remembering it was never supposed to last this long. And then, standing beneath a flickering tree, you see him. Not glowing, not floating, just there. Jesus.
Or maybe just your idea of him. Maybe it's the algorithm showing you what it thinks you need. But this version doesn't say anything wise, doesn't offer a parable. He just looks tired. Like someone who's walked through every simulation just to check if you were okay. You approach him. Is this the end? You ask. He shrugs. Could be. Or a new beginning. Classic. You try to smile, but the sky begins to break into ribbons of code. Bits of the world fall away. An avatar cries out as their carefully crafted temple collapses in slow, cinematic pixels. Another tries to summon a patch, but the system won't respond. This was never going to last forever. Nothing artificial does. But suddenly, you remember something strange. A half-forgotten line from some ancient theology debate. The resurrection is not just for flesh, but for creation itself. What if the collapse isn't the end? What if it's a reboot? You glance at Jesus again. He doesn't move.
But the ground beneath you begins to shimmer, not as it falls apart, but as if something is rising beneath it, a deeper layer, one you weren't meant to reach until you'd seen enough. You feel it in your spine, not fear, but anticipation. Like when you're about to wake up from a dream and you know the real world will be harder, but better. Theologians have long debated what the kingdom of heaven means. A place, a state of being, a metaphor for divine justice. Some say it's already here. Others say it hasn't arrived yet. But you wonder if maybe it's been coded into every longing you've had this whole time. Connection, truth, love. Not just the idea of them, but the real thing. The world continues to collapse, but now instead of fear, you feel clarity. You whisper, "What happens now?" And Jesus, or the echo of him, leans in, almost like he's sharing a secret. "You tell me." Then he vanishes. Not violently, just peacefully, like someone who knew their part was done. The dove returns, flying one last loop above you before diving into the collapsing light. A flash, then darkness. You're suspended, nowhere, no sound, just breath. And then a whisper, but not from the speakers, from within. A promise, a pulse. This is not the end. You open your eyes, you're back. Room dim, fan humming, screen dark. And you're still thinking about everything. Because something inside you changed. Not loudly, not visibly, but undeniably. The metaverse is gone for now, but the echo of what you saw lingers. The teachings, the questions, the glimmers of something real
inside something unreal. You don't need the headset to find the sacred. You never did.
And now, you let your eyes close just a little heavier. Let the shimmer of the world you left behind settle like dust across your thoughts. Everything is quieter now. No lights, no voices, just that gentle hum of being here, still, safe. The lessons follow you like soft footprints, fading into the dark. Maybe you're not meant to understand it all. Maybe faith is just choosing to stay open, even when the screen goes blank. So, breathe in slow. Feel your body ease into the stillness. Let the echoes of truth, half-coded and half-divine, rock you gently toward rest. You're not alone. Not here.